Hello, everyone. My name is Luis Soto. I'm a communications officer here with Young America's Business Trust, and it is my honor and privilege to be your moderator today for today's bootcamp session, which is titled Maximize Your Impact with a Successful Visual Portfolio. Everyone who's joining us here in the Zoom, thank you so much for being here. Everyone who's also watching through Facebook, thank you guys so much. As you guys know, we are actually this session is actually in the framework of TIC Americas, the Talent and Innovation Competition of the Americas, which this year includes 3 categories: the Eco Challenge 12.0, the TIC Jalisco, and the Innovation Challenge, as you guys watched in the video. Everyone who has already registered, thank you guys so much. Remember, you have until the 28th to actually upload all of your documents. And remember that these bootcamp sessions are actually to help you guys build those documents and actually upload them to the portal and finish out your registration. If any of you guys still haven't registered, don't worry about it. You're still in time. As I said, the deadline to register and upload your documents is February 28th. So you still have a little time there. But we highly, highly encourage you to do it as soon as you can so you can actually have the better chances of going through the next phase of the competition. But now I want to talk a little bit about our guest speaker today, who is Marcelo Alemeida. Let's just see right here. Marcelo holds a degree in Design and Business Administration from the Federal University of Rio Grande do Sul. He started his professional career in Germany in 2010 and in a technology company that provided services to Brazil. As I mentioned, he is the founder of Pocket Creative Lab. And through this company, he has actually had the chance of working in all types of countries, including Uruguay and Brazil and South America, and also all around the world in countries like Israel and Germany. He is also co-founder and head of operations at the Open Innovation Laboratory and is a representative of NASA Space Apps Hackathon. And he's also a mentor of the Global Business Pre-Accelerator Founders Institute. So these are just some of the accomplishments that Marcelo has accomplished in his career so far. Definitely, we're very privileged and very honored to have him here, sharing his experiences, talk about a little bit about what makes a good visual portfolio. I'm sure that we're in for a treat here with Marcelo and his presentation. Again, I want to thank everyone for being here. If you're in Zoom, thank you so much. If you're in Facebook, hi, welcome you guys too. Remember that this session will have a question and answer session at the end. If you're joining us through our Zoom, you can just leave your question in the chat and I'll read it to Marcelo, or you can actually raise your hand in the bottom with the button at the bottom, and we will actually open the microphone for you and you can talk directly to Marcelo. If you're in Facebook, you can also leave your comment and I will read it out to Marcelo so he can actually also answer your questions. Last but not least, follow us in our social media. That's at YABTS and at YABTDC. If you guys have any questions, you can always reach us at ticamericas@yabt.net. And remember to follow our websites, yabt.net and ticamericas.net. I think that's it for me for now. Marcelo, the floor is yours. And thank you guys so much for being here. And thank you, Marcelo, for accepting to give this presentation.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you.
Here.
Thank you, Luis.
Of course. Thank you, Marcelo.
Share my screen. Okay, here and presentation. Can you see my presentation? Is it okay?
Looks perfect.
Okay, perfect. Well, this is my first lecture in English, so I hope I'm not clear in any concept or any explanation, please write in the chat and we can explain better. You'll see that I have not a very traditional way of talking about portfolio, since probably most of you that are watching this are not designers. So I try to make presentation that is more practical and less visual, less design things, and more practical, more a way you can understand. You can maybe manage design teams. You can maybe manage your own branding for your company or also for your products. So I try to bring some practical tips. I divided this presentation in 5 major concepts that you'll understand. And the first thing for you to maximize your impact successful portfolio is storytelling. Why do I say storytelling? Storytelling is not only visuals. When you tell a story, when you want to present a product, when you want to present a service, you need to complete a storytelling in visual ways, in a proper way for a pitch, for an elevator pitch, for how people will buy your product, how people will use your product or service. So you need to complete a story for your product, complete a story for your business. This is very important. That's why I bring storytelling in the first time here. So as you can see, Disney is one of the masters in storytelling. And what do you expect when Disney promises you to deliver something? When you go to Disney parks, they promise you this. And resuming storytelling and the failing on storytelling is when you go to the park and imagine you get this. So that's not the way you want. If Disney promised something, it's better to deliver something. So how do we start thinking about storytelling? How do we start thinking about how to deliver a product? This is a stage show here in Brazil. And as I told you, I'm not the traditional way of telling about concepts. These concepts are also made by me and my partner. So this is the 5 things I learned watching Caldeira on the Hook. This is a stage show here in Brazil. And Luciano Huck, maybe you can have learned about him sometimes, but he's a very present an actor here in Brazil that has a stage show. And he has a specific part of his stage show that is the Home Sweet Home. Home Sweet Home is the major storytelling part of the Brazilian television. So what Luciano Huck tells us, when he starts the Home Sweet Home part of his show, he usually brings some story of a people. And the mission of this is to deliver a house, a better house for the person, telling its story and everything else. But how does he do it? If Luciano Huck goes to the place and deliver a house, there is no media, there is nothing that he can deliver to the public or to the sponsors or nothing. So how does he do it? He starts being clear. Luciano Huck is not his target. So Luciano Huck presents to people that are simple, that are in the peripheric parts of the cities. So he's not delivering houses to people, to rich people, to people that is not watching him. So people who watches his show, that is a very expressive number of people, is in the peripheric parts of the city. He is usually poor people. So he goes there. He brings the people that is watching inside his story. So he's not his target. Number two, everybody wants change. When he presents the people, the story, he presents something usually sad, usually that is, oh, there is difficulty in these people's lives. There is some work stories, there is some sad family stories, and you engage. It's like you watching a Pixar movie. If you watched Up, or if you watched, I don't know, Finding Nemo, you usually have this prequel. You have this empathy part where you catch the people's attention, and you get, okay, oh, this is very difficult. This is very bad. This is very engaging. My heart is connected to it. So I can connect my heart with these people. His life, their lives are very difficult. So I want them to change. I want it to be a different story. It's also like when you go to when you watch a football match, a soccer match. It's like Nigeria versus Brazil. You probably will cheer for Nigeria because you want the different story. You don't want to Brazil that has already 5 championships to win again. So you want a different story. So you connect with your heart, you connect with your emotion. The third part, more sacrifice, more cheering. This is the catching part. So you connected, you have empathy. Now that's the story. Luciano usually goes there to talk with the people. And there is maybe Mrs. Mary. Mrs. Mary is about 5 feet tall, and she is a little bit fat. She has maybe 50, 60 years old. And he tells to Mrs. Mary, that is, Mrs. Mary, for you to win your house, your new home, you have to play basketball with Michael Jordan. You have to dance like Michael Jackson. So there is a super sacrifice for Mrs. Mary. She doesn't know how to do that. She doesn't know how we can complete this challenge. And you go there, oh my God, Mrs. Mary won't do it. How can she complete this? And you get desperate because you are already connected emotionally. Now you are connected with a story, with a sacrifice, and you go, okay, go there, Mrs. Mary. You can do it. You can do it. The fourth step is, if you promised, you deliver it. It's obvious that if Mrs. Mary doesn't get to complete the challenge, they'll repeat and repeat and repeat for her to complete. And if she doesn't, of course, Luciano will not go to Mrs. Mary, oh, Mrs. Mary, you lost your house, you lost everything. No, of course not. In the end, he will say, okay, our sponsor here, he will deliver your house. It's everything fine. Your life will change. Everything is good. So Luciano promised Mrs. Mary. Luciano engaged with us. Luciano delivered in the end what we are all expecting. So that's a storytelling. If you get it, everything in your life can connect to this. Everything, especially in business. Because every time you talk about a product, a service, a business, a solution, you start with empathy, and then you go to how do you do it with sacrifice, and then in the end, you deliver it. And in the super end, you leave a clear message. What do you want? Luciano here says, Mrs. Mary, so your life's hard, you deserve it, your family deserve it. Keep going, keep moving. Everyone that wants change, do like Mrs. Mary and go for it, and you'll get it. In business, we go there. I want to sell this product. I want an investment. I want something. If you don't tell, in the end, what do you want? You'll be like Harold. Smile with Harold. He doesn't know if he cries or if he smiles. Because in the end, we need to know what do expect. In your website, you need to be clear. Click here to buy, click here to get contact, click here to understand more. In your catalog, call me in WhatsApp. In your every channel, everything that you go with your visual portfolio, with your portfolio, with your product, you need to be clear, what do you want with that? A simple communication with nothing to expect is no communication, is nothing. You have to understand what's the strategy. If there's no strategy, it's better to not have a communication sometimes. In a graphic, we can see this like this. In the first part, you think about scenery and characters. What are we talking about here? Imagine a presentation here. We will talk about this presentation. I have you as spectators that want to learn about something, that want to learn about visual portfolio. And I have this scenery, I have this online conversation that I need to provide you the best experience online. The second part, the conflict, the objective. Okay, now I have to be clear with all of you, understanding and connecting the dots and understanding that you are not designers sometimes, understanding that how can I explore more your understanding about visuals, about design thinking, about everything else to like conflict. There's a conflict here because I need to deliver to you knowledge that sometimes you don't have. And the third part is the climax. That's the highest part. That what is the main part that I want to deliver to you, that I want you to take to your homes and get in practice for your business, for your life, for your studies, for everything else that you can use this. So when we start structuring this, and this is a very good exercise for you if we're talking about business here, is put your product in these 3 acts. The act 1 is create empathy. I have a product here that is very, very famous here in Brazil. That is a credit card. I don't know how it is in your countries, but here in Brazil, some 5 to 6 years ago, it was very expensive to have a credit card. It was very complex to get in touch with the companies, usually banks, usually big banks, to get this credit card and to understand and to complain about the credit card. And also, we didn't understand exactly what we were paying for. So we didn't see what we bought, and the message was not clear. We received the paper every time in the month. So there was pain, and everyone here in Brazil that used a credit card had this pain about this thing. Now, then a company said, okay, I will lead the way. I am 100% digital, focus on user experience. So you will be able to connect with us. You'll be able to understand what you do. You'll be able to have this full information of your credit card. And also this will be free. And in the end, they deliver it. It's Nubank and you download now. It's an app. So it's very clear. We have a specific pain that used to get the people that we want to achieve. We have how do we do it in a clear way to deliver and to make this pain no more. And we deliver it and we say, this is an app, download it, make your setup and you will receive the card. Well, this is basically the structure for storytelling for this part. Why do we think about it first? Because, as I said, everything is connected to this. Everything that I will say, everything that we do for this specific part of our business will be connected to a story. Every communication, every point, all the capillarity of your communication is connected to this and needs to have a connection to something. Like if you already used to digital marketing like this, you'll know that every communication needs to go to a place, to a specific place where you will sell or where you will get content to your leads. So storytelling is connected to it all. Now some practical tips about visual design. Now changing a little bit the concept. Here, when we talk about visual design, we were talking about the visual part, and I will talk about some practical tips on how can you also, as I said, manage your design team, manage, or how do you want your design, your branding to be, and also how can you maybe try to create or maybe use in your daily basis some of these practical tips to not get wrong or to not screw sometimes your own branding. It's very usual when we have an agency here. Sometimes we get delivered to clients some materials, some editable materials, and they don't know how to manage, and they don't know how to do it. So these practical tips will have at least a visual concept and a practical concept on how can you understand better how design works technically. And the first part, and for me, this is the most important part of design. And when we talk about branding, when you talk about branding for a business, is repetition. Repetition here, for me, if you get this concept today, for me, it's the best of all. What is that repetition in design? We have this stage show here in Brazil, and this is Carlos Alberto, or Charles Albert. And we created this concept to talk about repetition that is the principle of Charles Albert. What does it mean exactly? When we turn on the TV around Thursday at 9, you'll see always the same stage, the same not funny people, and Charles Albert. It's always the same thing. You know, there's no doubt that is his program. There is no doubt that it is Charles Albert. There's no doubt that if everything is clear, that I'm always sure that is this program that is staging on TV. So what does it mean? It means that every communication, that everything that your brand, that your product do, needs to be connected somehow to your branding. And what I'm talking about is, like this presentation, I have here the same font, the same transitions, the same colors. If you sleep in the first part of this presentation and you wake up in the middle, you'll see that I am still in the same presentation because I follow specific rules that I go through and through to connect with you with this repetition. But it's not only like that. We are talking about sounds. If you go to Netflix, when Netflix goes with the first appearance of the N, you go like ta-dum. There is a sound specific that is branding. There are probably some stores in your cities that have smell. There are companies that have a specific way of talking. There are companies that have specific way of speaking for people. Everything that is repeatable, colors, fonts, transitions, sounds, smell, touch, everything that is repeatable and you can repeat somehow in a way inside your product, inside your service, inside your communication. I talked about Nubank here. Nubank here, the credit card has a specific way of treating people. They treat people well, and it was a very big difference 5 years ago. Now, every fintech here in Brazil, we expect to be treated well because Nubank created a culture. So you need to create this specific repetition, this specific branding repetition in everything you connect to your brand. Every communication needs to have this thing, and there are some times that this repeatable thing will transcend your branding, and also you will be other brands that use your repetition sometimes will be I forgot the word, but they will think that is your branding. So that's really important because people will have this inside their head that your branding is connected to something repeatable, something like that. And there is a specific question when I talk about repetition, that is the template. Oh, so you talk about repetition, and I can use templates for everything. I can use templates for cards, I can use templates for presentations, I can use templates for communication, I can use templates for my prints. Be careful. The template here, when we use this reversal comic effect, that some kinds of repetition are a little bit bad technically, because the user usually get confused. If you see some kinds of comics, usually these simple ones, they have these different colors in the heaven, in the sky, and in the grass. Why? Because of this. If everything seems equal, you get bored about communication. You don't want to see anymore. As you see in Instagram, brands that constantly use the same template, the same way of communication, they're boring. You don't want to read it anymore. You don't know if you read it already. You don't understand anymore what is happening. It's like if I start talking about design or talking about my product here, and I start doing like this, and you'll see the same slides, the same set, the same way of talking, maybe in the same voice. And you don't know if I passed the slide, if I went back, you don't know anything, because it's everything equal. It's not cool. It's not a cool way of communication. You need to have repetition. You need to have a way of your branding to connect with different parts, just like this, maybe. This is a course here that we do here in Porto Alegre. And this is a template. But what do we repeat? We repeat the colors. We repeat the shapes. We repeat the black and white photos, and you see it's the same presentation, it's the same branding, it's the same connection, but we do it in different ways. Pay attention with brands that you connect in Instagram, and you'll see the different cards, the different ways brands usually get connected to this branding, to this template part, and you'll see that they have the repetition parts, and they have ways of being flexible with the communication to make it richer, to make it more appealable for your users, to make it more fun, to make it more ludic, and it will be better for you to explore more the visual part of your brand. The next part is text. It's very important for you to understand. We talked about repetition. We talked about the concept of template. Now we are going to be simple, and I will talk about the simple things, but they are very important for you. And the first one is text. You have to understand that text is a graphic spot. It's a very important part of your communication. It's a very important part of your presentations, your graphics, and you need to know that you can work with this. You don't need to be conventional. It's not just text. It's not just something that the user will read. You can work with it in different ways to make it more clear, like working with the space between the lines, or working with space between the letters. We call it kerning. You'll have different ways to approach this communication. You'll see you have different ways of reading, and this graphic spot seems different, and this seems more formal like this. If you see, the text can get a message without the text itself. Also, we can work with hierarchy. We can be bold. We can have these titles, the subtitles, that you organize the people's view. You organize how people understand it, the way we will talking. I can put a text here with a big title. And if you don't want to understand, oh, I know about that, I won't read. Or I don't know about that. Oh, so this first part is an introduction. I need to understand what Marcelo is going to talk. Different than this, that is just a text. Now I organize the information for you and you read it or not. And I can make it richer. I can make these eye spots inside the text. And you'll see that this slide is only text. It's only letters. And it's more interesting than a slide with no work on it. And it's very simple. Yeah, it's kind of simple, I know. But if you try to practice a little bit and you really try to make things different, you can get real nice presentations only with text. Also, there's a thing that people loves. They try to organize the information. They try to boxify the text like this. It's the famous justified text. This is a real problem. As you can see in my mouse here, there's these red traps here that these spaces are designed for better reading. These spaces are designed for speed reading. And sometimes it's not very nice to have them. It's not very usual. Usually people that starts paying attention to design, paying attention to this, to how do we do graphics in presentations or something, usually they don't like it. But this is the best way we can have a better readability. And this is also not bad. This is also, the organization will be fine and the readability will be fine. So it's better than this. And this is kind of strange. If you get a larger text, maybe you can work a little bit better. You can see these red traps here are not very big, but it's okay. It's okay to use it. But be very careful with the small ones and the big ones. If I do this, of course, this will be not your presentation, but maybe a catalog, maybe a printed material, except books that usually do it for the columns. But imagine that you are going to do a catalog, then this is the story of your company, and you do this. Oh, the red traps are not here. Okay, but usually when we are reading in the middle of the text and get here in the end, you usually don't know which line you were, because this part here is the way your eyes organize your information. So when you get here, you know exactly which line do you want to follow back and to read the next line. So this is better. This is studied to be better, a better way for you to read and better way to organize the information and not get the user tired of your communication. And as I said, if we work a little bit only with that text, we can make a difference in our communication without colors, without images, without icons, and make a really nice communication, thinking a little bit and getting inspired sometimes by some graphics that I will show you in the end of this presentation. And you'll have nice information, even in presentations about numbers, even in presentations in your job that you have only information to show. And when you can do it, when you can make this hierarchy of information, you will get clear messages, you get clear communication with everything. The second simple part is font. I have it's usually the specific part that I like to analyze on portfolios for employing people here is how do people use fonts. It's very hard because people are used to get real nice graphics on Photoshop, real nice pictures, real nice treatment, real nice conceptions. And when they choose the font, they make a mistake. The font here, the fonts also have a concept. The font also have a way of telling things. And I like to imagine when I make a communication, when I imagine a font to a brand, to a presentation, what will be maybe personificating this object, this communication, what will be the person that personificates my project. Imagine that my project is personified by John Wayne, and I need to fit a font for John Wayne. And as you can see, I can have a font for John Wayne, a really bold font, a really squared font. And Naomi Campbell, with more contrast, with more elegancy. See, Bodoni is a very nice font for Naomi Campbell. She's Isis Valverde. Isis Valverde is an actress here in Brazil. She is very feminine. She's very flexible. She's very a really smiley person. I have a perfect font for Isis Valverde. Imagine Bruce Willis with Isis Valverde fonts. Doesn't work. We can try to help, but it's really hard to fit this font with this character. So when you try to personificate, when you try to understand that your project has some specific type of person, of persona, of product, we need to connect the font concept with the project. To prove you that font matters, imagine you are in your job and you went to lunch, and when you get back, you receive this message, be at the park at 6 p.m. Who sent you? Probably your boyfriend or girlfriend. And then the other day you go back, you went back to your lunch, and you go back to the office, you receive this message. Well, you're probably dead. Font has concept. Remember that when you write. I have here near my house underwear for women store that use this font to write signs written gratitude, smile. This is a very aggressive way of talking about nice things. So we have to understand, we have to connect everything. This concept will be very important for your brand. Next one is readability. We talked about text and font. We don't want to make the user uncomfortable. Careful with the size. If you're talking about printing and you have this point there in the Microsoft Word or Microsoft PowerPoint like this, you have this specific point sizes. 5 points is the maximum, it's the minimum size of font that you can use. And 5 points is very small. For people over 60, it's very hard to read. So for a letter, it's number 7 points. 7 points is nice for you to use it. And also, we can talk about contrast. I can be very aggressive if I don't take care of this. I saw a presentation of a teacher here in business administration that she used this, and there was a specific point that she looked at the presentation because she forgot what she was talking about, and she said, "Oh, I can't read." So it's very important for us to understand that how can we manage to connect the colors of our product, of our portfolio. We have many ways to work with colors, but the main part is that you have to set, maybe also in your branding manual, what is the way you communicate with text. And I can say that you need to choose some colors that will communicate like this. As you see here, if I choose this kind of contrast, I have this very energetic one that hurts your eyes. This one also hurts because it's very low contrast. And this one also very low contrast. We have to work on luminosity and value. If we go with luminosity to one side and value to the other with the colors, we have better contrast. We have better way to communicate. And if you are in doubt about your colors, if they are matching, if they are good, there's this website that is colorable.jxnblk.com that you can have this contrast rating. It is a worldwide rating that measures the contrast on screen. So this is focused on people that have difficulty on visuals. And if you have a triple way here, you'll have the best visual contrast for everyone else. And you can test it by having this hexadecimal number that you find in PowerPoint, in Word, in every software has, you can find this specific number of your color to put here and to test it. And it's very good. The most good contrast here in the internet today is from Google. Google search has the best contrast. People that has almost blind can also see what Google have in their information there. I think it's the last part, the last one of the simple parts, that is image. We're here in Latin America or in North America. We know that we are colonized by Swedish people. And still, in our communication, we have things like this. I have 3 comments about this. They are Swedish, so we don't have empathy about them. We don't know them usually. We don't find them usually in the street. Only tourists. The house back there, is a house prepared for snow. And it snows a lot here, also in Caribbean, and maybe in the United States. I don't know if there is anyone from the United States, North United States, but it's a typical European house. And we usually don't have families looking at each other in the front of the house in a picture. So why do we keep using that? Oh, it's a beautiful picture with beautiful people, with beautiful place and beautiful trees, but it's not here. It's not our public. Remember Lucian Huck, you are not your target. So understand that we need to connect with the people we want to talk, or with the people that we are solving a problem. This empathy, this connection, make things more real, make things more credible. With this connection, we already can tell a story and be more practical, be more specific, and have more connection with the public. Also, be real. I don't know how many pictures like this have in stock photos, but this tells nothing. It doesn't tell nothing. It doesn't, it's not usual. You have maybe once in a lifetime, you'll take a picture like this with your coworkers, but it's nothing. They are not working. They're not doing anything. We don't know if they are from HR, from marketing, from IT. There's nothing here. There's no connection. It's better a person working on a computer in a specific office taken by your cell phone than things like this that doesn't communicate anything to your users. Also, no one is happy eating salad. Just joking. But this is also, I want to bring this here because sometimes we also disconnect on how people behave with your product. How people we have an app for accountability, and we have a person smiling and looking so impressed about. Take care of how people are reacting, how people are working with your product in the pictures. as I said, it's better for you to take a picture with your own phone that is very good today. Our cameras are very good for taking pictures than selecting a picture that is not your target, that it is not the way people interact with your product or service. Also, I don't know who did this puppet, but it's in every communication presentation of business, of teachers in business administration. Please don't do it. If you want custom characters or icons, please make one, select a better one, choose a designer to do it for you, for your branding, for your official branding, than using things like this. Next part is organize everything. We talked about text, font, image, and now organization. Sometimes when we make a presentation specifically, or we make an outdoor, it's very useful to happen in outdoors. We want to put every information we have inside a specific media. Or we have only one card to use. Let's put everything we have. Or we have an outdoor. Do you know how to lose an outdoor? It's when your target doesn't read it in 2 seconds. If you want to make an outdoor in the road, in the street, the driver needs to read it in 2 seconds. So you need to be very specific about your arguments. But what do you really want to say? If I try to explain history for you with this slide, I will lose you, because in this case, in a presentation, you have 8 seconds to understand the slide. If you don't understand the slide, I will lose you inside the slide, and I will lose your ears when I'm talking. So it's very important to have images, to have specific things that will make connection. Can be a phrase, can be an image, can be a specific communication, and then an action. In the end, remember when I said we need to leave a clear message. If you have an outdoor, you'll have, okay, this is my brand, this is what I do. Maybe I don't tell about the brand sometimes. This is what I do. Call me here. This is my number. This is my website. And it's clear, and people will search for you. People doesn't need to know that your company is from 1928, that you have this degree on something. They doesn't want to know. They want to know how will you solve their pain, their necessity, what is happening for you to connect quickly and take action. So this is very important here. Try to think about the media. Try to think about the perfect phrase or image or argument that you will use for them to connect with you and take action. And also organization of the information. Remember that here in the Occident, we used to read from left to right. So it's very important for us to take a clear picture on how people will read your information. And also how to organize the items on your slide or card or something like that. And I have this very nice tip on how to organize that you can use. You can use also in PowerPoint or something. That is this guidelines. We usually use guidelines for us to organize information. And how can we start the guidelines? Imagine that my product is this bottle of water, and I want to make a press release or something like that explaining the benefits of my water. And I need to put the information here. So I put my water here, and I started making this grid. First one in the middle of the bottle. The second one is a protection mark around the bottle. Then I have this specific X here that I measured from the middle to the end of the bottle. Then I have here and here and here and here. And also here I transplanted this part. I can have these guides, horizontal guides based on the top, on the bottom, on the middle, on the funnel. And then I have place to put my information. I have how to organize and understand better how my information will get through the slide with a specific order and aligned with everything. Of course, this is not a rule, but it's a way that you can organize faster your information without being messy, with thinking a little bit about it. And you can do it in every size, in every way, in every direction. Our third concept here is the product. We talked about storytelling on how you can deliver your information. How can you organize the delivery? The second part was the practical part of how can we work with the visuals, with simple things, text, images, fonts, organization, and repetition. Now, I have to talk about product and services. The first one, when you talk about product, we have to delight the customer. You have a tangible thing. You have a specific thing that you can show. When I sell, for example, my agency services, I can show the results. It's a little bit different. It's my portfolio. But sometimes that you have a consultancy. How do you show people? But when you have a product, we'll talk about the consultancy. When you have a product, you have something to show. You have something nice, you have image, you have something interesting to show to your client what they will get. And it's not just show, it's delight them. It's very useful for this to happen. We have some industrial clients that sometimes the commercial part, the HR, they show things like this. We want to do this when you look at it, because it's not delightful. You don't know what it is. It's just a bad television. We have HD television. We have 4K television. We're not used anymore. We were maybe when all cell phones were pixelated or something like that, but we are not used anymore. So it's very important for us to have nice images of our products. And as I said, you have a real nice camera in your hand. With our cell phone, we can take a picture. It's much, much, much better than this. And I took some pictures this week in the Instagram from some business that I follow. And as you can see, we can prepare a way to show our product. This one in the left is not a bad picture. It's not, you can see it's really nice. It's really tasty, maybe. It's almost the same product here. But you see something like here, we have branding, because we have this environment that is the place that they have there, is the plate that they serve, that is connected. See, the plate is repeatable. The plate is connected to the brand. And the product has this evidence. And this is what was taken with a Samsung. This picture is very clear, is very nice, is very tasty. And it can show how your product is nice. And it's nothing, because she was holding the plate with her hand and took the picture with the other. There's no professional photographer, there's nothing here. Just a nice thinking about how can we present our product. Also, sometimes we have a product that we expect experience. I can sell a parachute like this, and I can sell the same parachute like this. It's a very different approach. It's the same parachute, it's the same price, it's same everything. But here, it's what I expect to get, is what I am thinking when I buy a parachute. Here is a backpack. So understand how people use, remember the images, how people use your product. what can they expect, and if there are things like not only parachutes, but also apps, also cars, food, everything. You can get experiences from your images, from your products, that you will delight your customer. This one in the left is a very nice picture of a car. Very nice. I don't have any doubt that this is interesting. This is very cool to understand, and how is the state of the car. Everything is fine. But here is like, we are prepared for adventure. This is a sport car. It's the same car, but here we are prepared to launch. It's almost like a rocket. You go there and you start your adventure. You start your life. Here, okay, it's a real nice car. But when we think a little bit about more, how do we experience, we have a richer way of telling people how can they buy our product. When you have a digital product like us, where we deliver, for example, branding, we also can have this presentation in a way that we show how things are expected to work. So Supernova here is a school, a digital school that works on mobile, that have online courses, and will work in different platforms. When we presented the brand, for example, and this is made on PowerPoint, it's very simple. We can do like this. Oh, this is your new logo. We presented all the concept. This is your new logo. This is the shorter way of your new logo. This is the way we'll show in your mobile phone. This is the way we'll show in your icon. See, it's very simple, but it's very rich to show how things work, how your product can be understandable, how your product can be flexible, and you make it through experience. You make it through nice images. Service is the other way. With service, we have the same part of the concept when we explore and enriches the communication, but you don't usually delight by images. You teach the customer how to buy you. Because when you're talking about new services, new ways of delivering things, like I am part of this innovation consultancy, Open Innovation Lab. And how can we deliver innovation? How can we deliver? I need to make people understand how to buy me. I need to make the boxes clear. It's like this. I have this client in Pocket, it's Anchor. We have a concept of make things better for companies, for accountability. And after the concept, I make specific boxes on how can people buy me. It's not like, oh, what do you do? I do everything for your company. No, I do specific things, and every specific thing has a process. Every specific thing has a way to buy it. And it's very important, because I like to say, because we here in Pocket, we have several ways of several products inside the communication. We have design, we have digital marketing, we have only communication, we have SEO. And if we don't make it clear for the client will pay once only for me, and they will want all my products inside one. If I make it clear for, oh no, this is one team that will work for you, this is the other team, this is the other process. If I make clear, they will understand, okay, I need to buy different things. I need to make more, buy more things, and I need to make it clear. It's also here. Anchor makes every type of accountability stuff, but they have specific parts that if you want to buy, it's like a marketplace. Okay, I want this and I want this. 2 different teams, 2 different processes, 2 different products. And I explain the products. It's like the one here, I said soft landing, and how can foreign people enter in Brazil with accountability. And here I explain everything about soft landing. What do we do in soft landing and why it's important for your company? Here, it's the other part, anchor labor. What do we do? How do we do? How do you buy it? If you teach people how do they buy it, and they will understand why does your product have value for the company, your service in this case, why does your service have value? Also in Open Innovation Lab, we have this. When we talk about innovation with the companies, we usually have, okay, how can I innovate? How can we do it? I don't know. I want colorful places. I want startups here. I don't know. How can I buy you? If I say, okay, there's a price, it's 1,000 reals, $1,000, whatever. They don't know. They don't understand how to buy me, and they won't buy me. So the first thing when I approach a company, I have this here. Okay, first of all, let's understand where are you? Who is your company? What are you doing? What are you doing with this, your culture? What are you doing with your innovation process? So we make an interview, and we can set if they are from 1 to 6 in innovation maturity. And then inside each box of this, we have specific products, in a specific way, specific process for them to reach the next level. And then they understand, okay, I am here because of this. And now to get here in 6 in innovation management, entrepreneurship, I have to do this, this, and this. I told him what he needs to do and how can I help him. That's very important in a service. So remember, product, delight with your product and your concept. Service, teach how can they buy you. That's the main part of visual portfolio. Product is more pictures, is more experience, is more delightful, is more graphics, and service, it's more infographics, boxes, clear products, clear explanation, and results. If you have like an agency, you have a portfolio. If you have like an innovation company like us, you have specific products that you deliver it to your client, and you'll have different approaches on how can you explain better your company. Final part, a helping hand. So some tools that we used to do, that we used to have for helping us in our visual portfolio. This is the Noun project, nounproject.com. That is icons for everything, literally everything. Every concept that you search here, you'll have an icon for that. Also flat icon, that if you want some colorful icons, that you can use it. And you can download in SVG. And it's, if you put in PowerPoint, you can also change the color. So it's very nice to have them. Fonts, we use that font. This one is free for use. Every font is free. Remember, if you have any specific dots, specific accents on your language, you have to search for this accent inside the fonts, because there are some that don't have. Here in Brazil, we have several, so there are very specific fonts for us to use. Google Fonts is very important for your website. So if you want to search for something, what I'm going to use on my website, these ones are better because you can have better performance on your website, because you don't have to download and update the font inside your user computer or cell phone. Font Squirrel also have a very nice set of fonts. I used to have this a lot. This is one very nice, that is fontjoy.com. It's pairing. When you test different fonts, you can search and test how they connect with each other. You can put different fonts here to see how they will interact. Images, how to use Google Images. It's very important because Google Images are not free for use. Google Images are taken from websites, and usually the pictures are not free. So how do we do that? We go here, if you search for a dog, for example, you go to tools here, and then you have this, usually big. It's very important here because you want nice pictures, remember the tool there back there. And you have this, I don't remember now in English because I don't have the Google in English, but it's Creative Commons. I think you have to set this for Creative Commons, that you have photos that are specifically made for from the users for you to use for free. So it's very important to, when you search in Google, go with this. iStock is paid, but we use here because it's not very expensive. We use here in the agency. Shutterstock also. Pixabay is free. It's a very good site for you to use. Unsplash.com, we use it a lot because they are very conceptual, but because they are only for photographers, and they are Creative Commons. And if you want, you can put the name of the photographer in your work. So there will be no problem if you use with or without not putting the name of the photographer. FreePic is very good also. They have a very large set of icons, of illustrations and photography. And that's it. I hope that it was rich for you, that I could be clear. As I said, my first lecture in English, sometimes I got slow, but these are my contacts. You can have, you can ask me anything. You can reach me. This is my business WhatsApp and also my LinkedIn if you want to connect. Thank you for everything. And if you have any question, please feel free to make it.
Marcelo, thank you so much. That was a very, very good presentation. I think it was very complete. You know, we went from a little bit of theory at first, talking about storytelling, and then actually some practical tips and practical concepts that everyone needs to know. So thank you so much for that presentation. Everyone here in the Zoom chat and everyone watching on Facebook, if you guys have any questions, you can put them in the chat. You can raise your hand and you can comment if you're on Facebook, and we'll let Marcelo know. I'm actually gonna start. I'm gonna break the ice with a question. Actually, two things really quick. The first one would be if at some point we can actually go back to all the websites that you showed, so we can put them in the chat. So if anyone missed one of those, can actually go back. And another thing is, you in this part you give us a lot of websites, but I was wondering if there were some software programs that you actually recommend for when I'm actually for when actually applying these concepts. Talking about software here, I don't know if you recommend one software over the other. You know, I don't know if you can expand a little bit on that.
Sure. About softwares, we use basically two softwares. We have the Adobe CC pack, that we have Illustrator, that is vector illustration, and Photoshop. But everything that I showed you here is made on PowerPoint. So every graphic, everything that is here in this presentation is made on PowerPoint, because as I said, I want to talk with non-designers here. I want to teach how people can do something and how people can manage to a team or something, understand better how can we treat visuals and graphics in a way easy for everyone. Because learn Illustrator or Photoshop, I don't recommend for, and we're talking with entrepreneurs. You need to sell, you need to have this visual on your product, on your process, on your culture, and on your selling part of the company. So this is for if you need illustration, if you need specific graphics, have a designer. It's commodity. Don't put also it's very important. It's very important. Don't put a designer as your partner. Only if you have an agency, because designers they are commodity. They really let them have their own companies, because it's not usual. It's not very good for your company, for your cap table, to have so many professionals inside only for technical parts that you can pay for it.
I think I had a little bit of a follow-up question that you touched up a little bit on. when would you recommend that an entrepreneur or an organization or a startup actually hire a designer to start working on that? Or when do you think that the entrepreneur can actually, you know, just manage some of the things with concepts like the ones you just mentioned?
I think it's the first part. We usually, as I said, we need to sell. You have to have a product, you have to have a service, you have to have something, and you need to sell. You have to show how your value, you have to show how can you deliver the value to your clients. So the first part is make a website, a real simple one. You can use Wix, for example, that is very simple, that you can manage to make its graphics after the designer put it on air. Have a small presentation that explain what your product is, explain what your service is for you to send on WhatsApp. Also, I like to sometimes also some clients of us that usually sell on WhatsApp, we make presentations for WhatsApp that is in the size of the cell phone, not in the size of a computer. It's very interesting, and have a nice branding, have a nice logo, and you can talk with the designers. You can make it. Don't say that the payment will be like will be anything than money, but you can talk to them and pay monthly a little bit. But it's very important for you to have a nice communication for you to start. It's better from the start, from the beginning, for you to start this branding, and you already connect. You already have you connect your storytelling, and it's appropriation. You have the name, you have you as an entrepreneur, you have a brand, you have a thing, a tangible thing that you sell. It's very nice for your company.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Marcelo. We have a question coming in from Sam here from the chat, and he asked if you have any recommendations on magazines, blogs, or Facebook or Instagram pages, or any online course that our entrepreneurs can take to learn more about visual materials.
I usually, when I need specific points, specific abilities, I used to go to Udemy. As a
Can you put that website in the chat, Marcelo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Udemy.com. It's very cheap, and they have very specific courses. Oh, I want to learn more about how it works with graphics on PowerPoint. I want to learn how can I treat my photos in Photoshop. Or I want to learn apps for treating my photos. You have this many set of courses that is I used to get there. And also, if you have patience on YouTube, I don't have any specific website except Udemy for learning. But in YouTube, you can get everything. Every doubt I have in PowerPoint, you just put there. Oh, how can I do this specific thing? It's that. And but I also have places that I get inspiration. There are many pages on Instagram for specific inspiration, for branding, for everything that you can follow. I like the NN group for UX design. I like I will put here. But of course, they are very specific. But you can put the hashtags like hashtag design inspiration. You will find a lot of materials and companies that do a very nice job for you. But in practical technical things, I will go for Udemy and YouTube, and you'll get everything you want.
Thank you, Marcelo. On that note, I actually wanted to add that in our bootcamp website, YABT.net/bootcamp, we actually do have some other resources in that website. So you guys can actually go there too if you want some external resources. We'll put it in the chat as well. We wanted to thank Sam and also Sandra, who congratulated on a very good presentation. Thank you guys for your comments.
Thank you.
I think that to end, I think we can just go really quick through all these websites, put them so we can put them in the chat so that everyone can access them whenever they want, and then we'll just close the presentation.
Okay.
Should I write them down or in the chat, or do you do it, Marcelo?
Okay, I can do it.
Okay. Remember to remember to send it to panelists and attendees so that everyone can actually see it.
Here. Nonproject.com. This is for icons. And as I said, I'll put here, download the SVG. Also flat icon. This one have colors. That's the big difference between none and flat icon. Da font, it's the biggest font bank in the web, I think. It's not the best one because they have every font. And as I said, they have some that don't have every character. So this one, also Google Fonts, fonts.google, because this for web, for good performance on your website.
Marcelo, are all these tools free to use?
The ones that are not free, I will say it's just two. I think 2 stock photos are not free, but everything else is free.
Perfect.
The font squirrel. I have this one. I like this one more than the others because they have a better set of fonts. They make a, I don't know how to say curadory. I don't know if it's the correct word, but they have a better set. FontJoy is for font comparison. It's very nice for you to try different sets of fonts that you choose. If they can pair, they can make good communication. So this is Google. This one is paid. Okay, this one is iStockPhoto, but it's not very expensive. So we use it a lot because they have a very nice set of photos, and we can use every photo there. It's more commercial. It's better sometimes if you need specific types of photo. This also is paid, but also same as stock photo. Pixabay is free, and it's very good. The Unsplash, as I said, the photographer set of photos. This is very nice. It's not very commercial, but it's very if you want to go through presentations and everything else, it's very nice. Free pick. This is the best one, I think, because they have graphics, they have vectors, they have pictures. Also, they have a paid part, but the set of, I think it's 80% free. Okay, that's it.
Perfect. Thank you, Marcelo. Alcides Flores and Eric Enamorado are sending their good wishes through Facebook. Thank you guys so much for being here. And also Rafael Pinto, thanks you for the great presentation. Now we're just gonna start closing the session now. To everyone here in Zoom, you will have to, if you could do us the favor of actually just filling out a quick survey that is gonna pop up in your screen in the next couple of seconds. That actually helps us here internally at YABT. While you guys do that, Marcelo, I don't know if you have any last remarks or any last words that you would like to say to everyone here.
Just say thank you, and it's my community. My contacts are here if you want to talk, and I like to talk about business. Also, I'm a designer, but I love to talk about business and entrepreneurship. Connect with me on LinkedIn and be free to ask anything.
Beautiful. Marcelo, thank you so much again for a great presentation. Thank you so much for being here. Everyone who's been watching through Zoom, through Facebook, guys, thank you so much. You know, we organize these sessions for you guys so that you can actually, you know, have good documents, have a really good visual portfolio, so that if you're registered here in TIC Americas, you can actually have a really great chance of going on through the next phase of the competition. Remember, if you haven't registered yet, you are still on time. February 28th is the deadline that you need to have in mind. Remember that we're here to help you. We're here. We really want you to have a really good project and, you know, to take your startup to the next level. That's why we're here, and that's why we do this. So thank you, Marcelo. Thank you, everyone who watched, and we'll see you on the next one. See you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.